movie begins by introducing a man named Ishan, who works in a hospital. He has no family or friends, and despite his good behavior, even the hospital staff doesn't treat him well. As Ishan was helping patients, he was sent by the doctor to get X-ray results. He went downstairs and retrieved the results for the doctor. Meanwhile, two nurses in the locker room about a doctor who was having an affair with another woman. Ishan, who was hiding in the locker, got out. Later in the cafeteria, Ishan sat alone while eating. After his shift ended to his house, he stopped at a shop to pick up fruits and headed to his house. When apartment, his landlady told him the rent was overdue. She also told him to get the ceiling checked because it was leaking. He went inside and came back out to ask if she could take off because he trips on them every time he goes in, but she told him to move carefully instead. The next day, Ishan went back to work. The nurse there telling him he needed to get serum. Ishan, who was in love with her, didn't mind. He then went to the morgue and got inside after making sure no one was looking. He took her body and removed the cover from her. After taking the cover off, he began touching the and started talking to her. She was a woman who couldn't survive a heart surgery, and he asked had a family or kids. He cried while talking to the body and kept reassuring her not to be angry. He then started becoming intimate with the body. He went back to his apartment, where his was waiting for him again. She asked if he was overworking since he was later than usual today, and then told him he hadn't picked up the bills from the post box. He told her he would take them and went to his house. He then took out a box and placed a hair in a plastic bag from his pocket, adding it to the other similar plastic bags inside. In a nightclub, a young girl was taking drugs. Back at Ishan's, he woke up to a phone call, but he told the caller number before hanging up. The next day, an injured patient came into the hospital. Was obsessed with was getting ready in the locker room, and Ishan's was stalking her from the locker. Once again, after she left, he got out, picked up her lipstick and took it. After work, back to his house and watched television while eating. In the nightclub, the same girl was once again dancing and drinking. Clearly drunk, she went outside, walking unsteadily as she tried to keep her. She saw some street art and stopped to appreciate it, leaning against it. However, her head started spinning and she collapsed to the ground. While on the ground, she shook slightly before dying, revealing that she had overdosed on something. At the hospital, Ishan's entered the doctor's office. He took out a stethoscope and started listening to his own heartbeat. He then walked around, touching and examining the things there. Later that night, Ishan's took a snack and stock, watching fireworks. He then went back to the hospital and started cafeteria. In front of him, a nurse was sitting and he stared at her constantly, which creeped her out. Later, as he was cleaning a surgery room, he saw his reflection on the back of a metal plate. He noticed the congenital dark spot in his left eye, and then dipped his fingers in blood, applying it to his right eye. He picked up a scissor as if to cut out the dark spot, but stopped doing so. As he went out, he saw another patient dying. He went to work in but he got frustrated and threw it away. He then went to the morgue and took out another body. It was the body of the girl who had died of an overdose. He started talking to her like he had with the others. He complimented how beautiful she was, comparing her with other women. He analysed every part of her body, saying she was well groomed. He asked about her husband and cried, saying all the information about her was hidden inside. But he couldn't learn any of it. He proceeded to tell her about previous women who had died after being brought to the hospital for treatment. He then told her about a girl from when he was in an orphanage. She was as she was, and she used to cut herself. One day, he found her dead in the back. Ishan couldn't leave her, even though she had died. She began to rot, but he still didn't leave. He cried as he remembered this. The next day, Ishan saw the girl's body being taken for burial. He then went to a graveyard to find her. He spotted her grave and lay on top of it for a long time. Later, he went back to his house, ate his food, but this time he was talking to someone. It was the girl from the morgue. He had dug up to take her out and had brought her home with him. He then went out and bought her clothes, dressed her up and placed her on his bed. While lying on the bed with the body, and kissing it. He then unzipped the dress and became intimate with the body. The next day at work, Ishan was sitting on a swing, completely lost in his thoughts. A nurse came calling for him, snapping him out of his thoughts, and told him a male patient needed a catheter. He went upstairs to get the catheter for him. He then went to the bus station to wait for the bus to go home. Once home, he began preparing the girl. He applied salt to her body, put on mascara, lipstick, shoes, and a necklace. Then sat her on the couch next to him. As he kept talking to her, telling her that she looked beautiful that day. At that moment, someone knocked on the door, and he went to answer. It was his landlady. She asked if because she heard noises coming from his room, but he said it was just the television. She then asked had a corkscrew, and he was about to close the door to get her one, but she insisted on to check the ceiling. He refused to let her in, and said there was no need since it was not leaking. The next morning, he went back to the hospital and took foundation from the nurse's bag. He took it home and applied it to the corpse in his house to cover the dark, rotting spots. Later that night, Eshin took the body out and went on a boat. The next morning a nurse called him and told him to check the results of some hormone tests. He told her to do it herself. She reminded him that it was his job, but he hinted at her affair with the doctor by saying she had free time since the doctor was off. He then took the cigarette she was smoking, leaving her stunned. Later, he was called by a doctor who told him the files in the closet needed carried to the warehouse, but Eshin told him he was busy and went to sleep in the file room. As he was going home later, the same guys who always invited him to sit with them teased him again. That day, he stopped to say hello this time. At home, he took out everything the body. He then took the body out and put it on a swing to play. Afterward, back home. As he was going up the stairs, his landlady came out of her house and out in the middle of the night, standing by her door. He told her he went out to pick scent from his hometown. She went back to her house, not noticing that he was carrying a body. At home, Eshin noticed the body was rotting, but he had no intention of burying it and kept washing it with salt. In the bathroom, he stared at his own reflection for a long time and combed his hair backward. He then changed clothes and looked at his reflection, smiling. The next day, work and was unusually friendly with the staff. He took lab results to the doctor, who compared his hairstyle. The doctor then asked him to sit and offered him candy. He asked where Eshin was from or Eshin told him he didn't know, and when the doctor asked if he had ever asked, Eshin fell silent. The doctor realized he didn't have a family and asked him about it. Instead, Eshin replied that he had a girlfriend. Eshin then went to get X-ray results, and as he was doing so, later as he was sitting in a cafe next to doctors and nurses, he suddenly started laughing, frantically and screaming. As he went back home, he sat with the guys from the cafe and played games with them. When he went to his apartment, his landlady was waiting for him. She asked changes in him, like his hair, clothes, and having guests. She then mentioned that the apartment smelled bad and there were bugs all over. She warned him not to get them in trouble, and he went inside his house. Even he couldn't bear the smell, but he kept the body there. Later, after Eshin left, his landlady came by, but she got a call and went outside before seeing the body. Eshin returned with chemicals he had bought from a store and filled the tub. He then put the body inside the filled tub. After he left the body there, the woman rose from the tub. Life. The next morning, Eshin woke up to his alarm, realizing it was just a nightmare, and went to check the body, which was still there. He saw that the body was still rotting and hadn't progressed. At that moment, his landlady came and told him the place smelled like alcohol all over and asked if he had started drinking. He told her it was alcohol from the hospital and slammed the door. Eshin went to buy a fridge. He tested if he could fit inside and climbed in. Despite suggestion that there were more affordable options, he decided to buy it. The landlady came by again and asked why he bought such a big fridge, but he brushed her off and closed the door on her. He then put the body inside the fridge. The next day, he brought coffee to a group of doctors and nurses and offered them tea, saying it was from him. Instead of thanking him, they joked that even if something was wrong with the tea, they were safe in the hospital. Later, Eshin sat with the doctor, drinking tea. The doctor asked how his girlfriend was, and Eshin told him he had bought her flowers yesterday. The doctor then suggested that he buy her white daisies. Later that night, Eshin flowers to his house, and his landlady was waiting for him by the door. She asked why he had changed locks and told him that if he didn't give her a key the next day, she would report him to the police for adultery. He told her he would give it to her tomorrow, then went inside and put the body. He started acting crazily, telling the body that they would run away together and that he loved her. After his frantic talk, he tried to go downstairs, but he saw that the iron bar was locked by the landlady and realised he was stuck inside. He then went inside and decided through the roof, attempting to break it. The next day, he didn't show up for concludes with Eshen's body seen in the freezer alongside the corpse.